The reason I wanted to post about this is because I find that I'm saying this over and over again to people inside Roadmap to Booked, and also just people in my DMs who are asking questions about, well, how do I have the portfolio to attract people who are willing to pay more if I'm not photographing people who are willing to pay more? So it's kind of like this cycle of a problem that seems like it's impossible to solve. And the really easy answer to that is that you need to be photographing for free. It's not even that you need to be photographing for free if you want to grow into a luxury photography business model. So there's two mistakes that I see most photographers make, and I want to go over those really quickly before we get into the good stuff. Now, the first one is I see a lot of people saying, well, my time is worth something, right? And so I refuse to work for free. And your time is worth something for sure, but your time will never be worth more than what it is right now unless you're able to start showing a portfolio that attracts a client who's willing to pay more. The second huge mistake I see people making is they know that photographing for free is something they should do, but they don't prioritize it. And instead, they're prioritizing things in their business without even realizing this is a priority to them, like the editing, the calling, the re-editing, the obsessing over different strategies, and then trying new strategies, and all of the sort of like the busy work stuff, instead of doing the fundamental huge building block things that will help them build into the luxury photography business model, because it truly is the only model that is sustainable long term if you're a wedding photographer, which is booking, $5,000 weddings and up. So it's so important to do styled shoots, which is essentially photographing for free. Some people call them editorials, styled shoots, whatever you want to call it, because you likely, if you're transitioning to wanting to attract a different client who is willing to pay you more, you don't currently have enough of that portfolio to attract that ideal client, right? You need the type of work to attract the ideal client that you don't currently have, and you're not currently shooting, and nobody's hiring you for it because you're not showing it. I know it's like all over the place with what I just said, but it's true. So the only way that you're going to be able to start photographing things that are beautiful and editorial looking and attract more of a high-end client who wants to get married at these different venues that you've never photographed at before and no one's booking you for, is you have to photograph for free. And I do this by means of styled shoots. I feel like, and only because I've heard this and seen this in some photography forums, styled shoots has such a bad rep, I think, because a lot of people feel like A, they don't want to photograph for free, but also B, like, well, these are styled shoots, so these aren't real weddings. And what's interesting is, what is the difference between you having an artistic vision and seeing that to fruition and carefully creating everything behind the scenes and crafting this beautiful magazine-worthy ideal day, just like you would see in a bridal magazine, by the way, or just like you would see on a bridal website. You're still photographing that. This is still your artistic vision. I would say even more so because you have more creative control over the entire thing. You're able to show what your vision, your true vision is as a photographer, with no boundaries to it, and you're able to have the time to photograph things artistically and show different perspectives and show exactly what it would look like on your best terms, and all of that to work with you. So I love styled shoots, and they are so essential because you literally cannot attract people to your photography business unless you have a portfolio to do that. So the very first step you should do is you should instantly in your mind say that styled shoots or editorials are non-negotiable, right? These are a part of owning a photography business, making yourself better, becoming a better artist. It's a fantastic way to build relationships in the industry. It's a fantastic way to attract a different client to you, and it's a fantastic way to get out of your creative rut that I hear so many of us are regularly feeling because we're not photographing the things that we want, or we're burnt out because we're photographing too much. And we will never stop photographing too much to make a living unless we decide that we're going to start building towards a luxury model. And this truly is one of those first steps. So it should be non-negotiable. You should say that doing styled shoots is like brushing my teeth. It's just something that happens. When I have and build my wedding photography business towards that luxury model, I will do X amount of styled shoots. So that's the next thing you want to do. Think about how many styled shoots you need to do right now to be able to get to where you want. So if you currently have 0 in your portfolio that is going to attract a luxury client, you need to be doing them more consistently and closer together. If you're somebody who you're a little bit more advanced, then maybe you do them quarterly. But I know people that have been doing styled shoots every couple weeks. They've spent their entire first year doing styled shoots, like just one after the other, after the other, after the other, because it's so important to build that portfolio to attract that client. I know people that have flown out to Italy and to France and to all of these places that they want to end up photographing long term, that they would never get hired at before, because who's going to hire someone who's never worked in France before, or never even flown to France to do their wedding in France? Does that make sense? So think about how many you want to do and commit and do them, because it's not enough to think about them and get them on the calendar. You have to actually commit and start planning those. My recommendation is to do ones that you've created, but then do also really well thought out ones that speak to your luxury client that are paid. So you don't have to always do all the work in creating all of these new styled shoots. There's plenty of different places that do beautiful styled shoots that are really popular, and some that are just lesser well known, but they're more local to you. Do your research and do the due diligence to search out the ones that are the closest to what your ideal client wants to see and where your ideal client wants to get married. And when you're doing ones that are all created by you and the vendor team, so these are the ones that aren't paid and you just show up and shoot, make sure that you are creating exactly what you want to create. So it doesn't make sense, for example, if your ideal client is super fine art and they're very modern and they are very neutral, for then you to create a styled shoot that, because it's trendy, you're doing Barbie and you're doing I don't know, Barbie boho, and like just the exact opposite of something that would attract your ideal client. So more is not better. It's more, but do them to attract the exact person that you want to attract, if that makes sense. So this is why shooting for free is so important and essential for growing your photography business, especially into that luxury model. Because doing all of these things, getting it on a calendar, committing to saying this is just like brushing my teeth in my daily life, this is just something I need to do in my business, making these shifts will start to build the portfolio that you need to start attracting the clients that you want, so that you can finally start charging more and work less. So hopefully that was helpful and a mindset shift for you, because your time certainly is worth a lot, but it can be worth so much more if you were to be able to charge more, and this is a great way to do that. So I wanted to circle back and just remind you guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and look below. We're giving you some actual steps to go ahead and add yourself to the Roadmap to Booked waitlist. This is all about teaching you a little bit of what you've learned today is going to be in there, but so much more expanded. And we really dive into not just building a photography business, but building a luxury wedding photography business that is sustainable long-term, so that you can truly be there for the moments and your families and all the things you want to do, and build a life or build a business around your ideal life and not the other way around. And thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.